Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. More Blood and Plunder for you here as we work our way through more of these Spanish commanders. Today we have an interesting one, Blas Miguel. So he can lead any Spanish Corsairs or Guarda Costa's force. Another 25-pointer, similar to what we saw in our previous video with Archibald McDonnell. Another 12 command range and 2 command points. Again, plenty of real estate that command bubble is going to take up for us on the board. So good stuff there. We don't have to be bunched together as tightly. The 2 command points, pretty standard stuff there. Good enough. Of course, we always want that third one if we could have it. But rocking a pistol and a standard melee weapon, so good stuff there as well. Would have been nice to see the brace, of course, but can't have everything. And another guy that's actually going to give us 4 special rules. So well above the standard sort of 2 to 3 that we tend to see with a lot of the special characters. So let's see if he's worth our 25-point investment. So we actually just talked about hard chargers with the previous video with Archibald, but just a great one here. So when charging, this unit receives a -1 bonus to the fight test for the free fight action. So if we take a lot of units potentially here in either force selection that are already going to be good at close combat, this is just going to help them excel that much more, right? We're going to put that much more damage on the enemy, hopefully just killing them outright, or just causing so many casualties that they're really going to be hardly effective and we can mop them up on a subsequent turn or something like that. So hard chargers is fantastic all the way across the board. Again, we've seen Commodore, a lot of the characters recently, so because some of these lists are kind of also geared towards naval combat. So basically we can extend our command range by 12 when we're giving actions to units on other ships. We have to be on a ship ourselves. Good stuff there. Again, we don't have to be super bunched up. That's a very generous command range and lets us again, be somewhat independent as far as how we're maneuvering all of our ships on the table without having to be, again, bunched up and maybe risk collisions and other just bad maneuvers to put us in, maybe not optimal conditions for fighting. So plenty of range to do good stuff there. Now, Impulsive isn't one that we've seen a lot. Maybe it might even be the first one in our series here, but let's see what we get. We've seen Tough before, which we'll get to as his last ability. But Impulsive, so all friendly units within this commander's command range that are activated by a Spade or Heart card are able to shoot or charge an enemy unit within 8 must do so. If the unit charges and would require a throw grapples action, it may be attempted once as a free action. So interesting situation there. So if we're impulsive and we're basically on the water, we do get a little free action out of that. So that's kind of cool. But again, in certain situations, right, there are times where we maybe don't want to charge, or maybe we're just, we can shoot, but again, maybe just wouldn't be the one unit that we necessarily want to target in this given situation. Sometimes that can get us into trouble, but if we just got to plan ahead essentially with that to recognize that when we are within that range where impulsive would affect us, that we are prepared to do the action that we should do in that case, right? We don't want to get into bad situations where, well, this unit happens to be closer and then we got to now deal with that unit that's closer than maybe something else that we wanted to do. Maybe we didn't want to necessarily get into a shooting or close combat situation. We needed to keep moving for whatever reason or just reposition, whatever it might be. So sometimes it will affect us. But again, we can also mitigate that by just activating with a different suit. Although, again, sometimes that will affect our plans for the turn. Maybe we want to reserve or have like a diamond or a club or something that we needed for another unit, and maybe how we wanted to sequence the turn, but maybe that forces us into a situation where we're using the Spade or the Heart. So just different situations where, again, we might be forced to act in a different way than we maybe wanted to for the turn. Obviously, if we have a hand of nothing but Spades or Hearts, we're going to have to kind of deal with it as is, and then we're just kind of choosing maybe the order that we hope to activate in, right? So just little things to consider there, right? And, again, with the other suits, right? Maybe we wanted, ideally, this unit to go later, but for whatever reason, maybe we're forced to throw the Spade down and go sooner, or just different things like that. So cool rule, but again, also, if we're on the water, the fact that, anytime we can get a free action, so in this case, the free throw grapples, that's actually pretty cool. But again, situational, especially if we're not, necessarily fighting on the water. So then finally, tough. Always a good one here. Love this one. So just a good combination too, because if we're going to be getting into a lot of these combats, we might just, even if we're not necessarily taking damage, but we might still accumulate fatigue in different ways. So tough. If this unit ends in activation with any amount of fatigue and we didn't push, you can remove a point of fatigue at the end of its activation. So always nice there. Anytime we get free actions in this game, so whatever way we can acquire those is usually a really good thing, right? We only have so many actions throughout the game, especially depending on what kind of cards we're going to be activated with. So when we can get freebies and not have to waste like command points on that, or some other combinations of like fortune in some cases for certain things, anytime we get freebies, it's a good thing. And here, just keeping fatigue off of a unit, again, assuming we're not pushing, but so if we're just doing our thing and we've come up with some fatigue, getting that free removal is going to be huge throughout the game, right? If you think of maybe in like a typical game, if you count like how many times you've had to dedicate actions to rallying just to get to get fatigue off of there, and just what those actions could have otherwise been used for throughout the game. So if we can get tough to trigger multiple times and save us from doing taking other normal actions, command points, etc., to do that, that can be super useful, right? And if we can ideally get more just actions total than the opponent in the course of a game, we're going to be looking pretty good in most situations. So let us know, guys, what you think of Blas Miguel. I think also with like Archibald that we just saw in the previous video, another just fantastic commander at 25 points, 4 abilities, all relevant, right? Obviously, Commodore is going to be more situational when we're fighting on the water, but you can't complain about hard chargers, and tough certainly, and we can mitigate the downsides when they occur with impulsive as well, but has a little hidden upside too when we're fighting ship to ship. So let us know, guys, if you've run Blas Miguel. Do you tend to favor him more in the Corsairs or the Guarda Costas list? What have your successes been? Any memorable moments? Hit us up in the comments, like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.